Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here today. As other domestic and foreign competitors, such as Kao, Lion, and Unilever, are rushing to enter the global water, we must urgently decide whether now is the right time and which markets to enter. Our goal is to make the next great flying leap, or as we once said, Ichidai to become a global prestige skincare brand. Upon analyzing SK2's options, our recommendation is to remain in Japan for the time being and strengthen our market foundation in the home market during this vulnerable time of our company. During this time, we will apply for import registration in China, and we will enter the mainland Chinese market next year. The purpose of this presentation is to analyze P&G's option to expand SK2 into new international markets. We will first go over a brand overview and the implication of company restructuring that is taking place. Then, move on to market analysis, evaluation of our options, and finally, present the plan to implement our recommendations. My name is Kosei Tanaka, I'm the CEO, and my favorite P&G product is Bounty Paper Towel because it makes cleaning fast and easy.
My name is Audrey Simandjaja. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer, and my favorite product is the Pantene shampoo.
My name is Lindsay Timmerman. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, and I love using the facial treatment essence from SK2 as the first step in my personal skincare routine.
My name is Peniel Takele. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, and my favorite P&G product is the Olay Cosmetics Foundation.
My name is Surya. I'm the Chief Technology Officer, and my favorite P&G product is the Cascade dishwasher detergent.
And my name is Sidrah Siddiqui, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and my favorite P&G product is the SK2 Facial Treatment Lotion.
First, I'd like to give a bit of background about our brand. SK2 is a Japanese skincare brand that had a huge success in Japan with a loyal follower base. Our cutting-edge skincare technology, such as foaming massage cloth and Pitera, was born from decades of research and a unique database that P&G has from other product developments. SK2 starts at $99, with some customers spending over $1,000 on our products. With in-store service and beauty counselors, we position ourselves as a distinctive player in the premium skincare market. With that being said, the expansion of SK2 is a positioning P&G towards a more premium segment of the skincare market that is willing to pay a premium for the purchasing experience and product efficacy. Now that I've talked about the background, I'd like to hand it off to Rick to talk about our situational analysis.
Thanks, Kosei. Now let's take a look at the situation that SK2 and P&G are facing. We have identified three key issues: diminishing growth, P&G's global reorganization, and the question of international expansion. The first key issue is that SK2 is facing slowing growth rates in Japan. We currently hold around 20% of the Japanese skincare market, but pressure from domestic competitors like Shiseido has slowed the growth rate to 5% per annum. This means that we are lagging behind the market growth rate of 6%. Growth rate in the Japanese skincare market has lagged behind other markets like China, which has a massive 28% growth rate. Moving on to the second issue, P&G has recently rolled out plans to reorganize their global operations. The company's restructuring program may impact the feasibility of globalizing local brands, which we will further dive into later. This leaves P&G in a fragile state, raising more questions regarding the possibility of globalizing SK2 during this transition. Finally, there's the question of international expansion. Although SK2 has successfully expanded to Hong Kong and Taiwan, other regions offer significantly higher growth opportunities. Our competitors have already expanded to markets like China, pressuring us to take action. However, each region presents specific challenges, which we will discuss later. Now, let's take a look at our target market options. SK2 has already expanded to parts of Asia, including Hong Kong and Taiwan, and made a huge success by 1999, accounting for over 45% of total SK2 sales. With this success, we have recently expanded our product to Singapore, Malaysia, and South Korea. These past successes have pushed us to consider making a bold entry into major markets. This time, we have considered China, Europe, or to focus on capturing more of the Japanese market. Now I'll pass it off to Sidrah, who will jump into P&G's restructuring program.
Thanks, Rick. So now I'll be spending some time explaining our recent corporate changes and how this shapes P&G's prospects as a global company. In the past, we employed the model that you see on your screen. A couple of regional directors highlighted that reduced developmental costs and gained consensus on technology diffusion, as well as some group vice presidents in the third row that were responsible for various products in their region. And of course, these group vice presidents held significant responsibility for product development, but the ultimate profit responsibility was held by regional directors, which created a lot of animosity within the culture. Over the past few years, and given our new CEO, P&G has crafted a plan O2005. For the same reasons that Rick mentioned earlier, such as sluggish growth and loss of global market share, our leaders wanted to redesign the corporate growth metrics and our focus. So P&G considered global growth in three main ways: culture, process, and structure. Beginning with culture, our CEO wanted to push for way more innovation, reworking the risk-averse conformist culture at the firm. Second, for process, our new CEO wanted to better incentivize people to produce more unique products by changing the compensation structure to be based more so on performance. And he also wanted to streamline the administrative aspects of budgets to be more holistic than just focused on marketing, for example. And finally, for structure, the primary profit responsibility was shifting from regional directors that I mentioned earlier to something completely different. So looking at the O2005 corporate restructuring map here, P&G instituted a major overhaul of its structure, including instituting the global business units to your left, the global market development organizations right in your middle, and the global business services to your right. Now, each GBU is actually responsible for profit in addition to product development, manufacturing, and marketing of their respective categories. And certainly this has paved the way for some of our most favorite brands, such as SK2, especially within the Northeast MDO. The O2005 plan may actually seem incompatible with global growth right now. In fact, we can think through O2005's effect on global growth in four main ways. First, market segmentation. While SK2 certainly has the potential to be a global brand, it ultimately appeals to different types of consumers, which means we have to create different types of business strategies and marketing strategies for such customers. This is difficult as marketing plans are now being planned globally, which may actually harm our ability to appeal to the different skincare habits of different parts of our globe. Second, budgetary restraints. Due to the budget modification and our shifted focus from marketing to production, MDOs may actually be way more focused on sales volume, for instance, than on product specialization, especially since compensation reform is tied to volume. Third, employee frustration. Since the structural change, countless managers have left P&G as they found the global focus to be fundamentally misaligned with their managerial goals. So pushing an aggressive campaign right now may further ruin our employee morale. And all of this brings me to the most important point, a delayed global rollout. For SK2's worldwide expansion, it may fail for the exact reasons why O2005 was instituted. The hierarchy, bureaucracy, and organizational changes currently with P&G have really left our organization in a fragile state. And so to summarize, P&G cannot fully support a globalization project in the next fiscal year because of such corporate restraints. But to speak more about how we can push P&G and SK2 forward in the next coming years, I'd like to pass it off to Audrey.
Thank you, Sidrah. So moving into our market analysis of our three market options, we first came up with 7 criteria to determine the optimal market for P&G to enter at this time. On the top left in pink, we have our market dynamics, which compose of the level of local and foreign competition, as well as consumer sensitivity to Japanese beauty trends. Moving to the bottom left in dark pink, we have import considerations such as duties, which may be passed along to consumers in the retail price and the import registration process. Finally, on the right in light pink are our financial metrics, which include costs of advertising and beauty consultants, both of which have been critical to our success in Japan as well as overall profitability. Now on to our first market option, we have Europe. Starting on the left with the pros, within Europe exists a large group of sophisticated beauty consumers willing to spend the extra dollar for luxury products. Consequently, these consumers have also adopted multi-step skincare practices, which is a promising sign for SK2's multi-step routine. Furthermore, expanding into Europe aligns with P&G's expansion strategy and increases the company's global footprint as a whole. Finally, there is also potential to leverage the growth of the fine fragrance business as a distribution channel if we do choose to enter. However, entering Europe also presents many challenges and risks, as we can see on the right. And these include high cost of advertising and beauty consultants, as well as strong competition from established luxury brands like Chanel and Dior, and a risk of consumer unreceptiveness to the unique odor of our products and to adopt additional skincare steps. Finally, all of these risks, as Sidrah mentioned, are elevated in light of our current restructuring program. Now, our next market option is mainland China, one of the fastest growing regions at 30 to 40% growth per year and soon to become the second largest market in the world. Within the premium beauty market, consumers already practice a multi-step skincare routine, which is in part due to the campaigns of our sister brand Olay. This success, in addition to SK2's past success in Hong Kong and Taiwan, positively reflect consumer demand within the region. Furthermore, costs of advertising and beauty consultants are relatively low. And finally, entering China will allow us to capture more of the overall skincare market share by positioning SK2 as our luxury premium brand and Olay as our general brand. Now, the risks, however, include a prevalence of counterfeit products, in addition to high import duties that are estimated to be 35 to 40% of our retail price and a one-year bureaucratic import registration process. Furthermore, every major competitor in our industry is already there, and our current basic four-step skincare routine is unaffordable to the majority of working women in major cities. As with Europe, all of these risks are elevated with the current internal restructuring we have going on. However, we do recognize that delaying entry into China will diminish P&G's opportunity to capture the wealthy Chinese market. A strategic market entry in the future will entail offsetting the high import duties with the low cost of advertising and registering to import our products earlier rather than later, given the delays. Now I'll pass it on to Peniel to introduce our final market option.
Thank you, Audrey. I will now introduce you to our third option, which is to stay in Japan. We've identified pros and cons with this decision, which you can see on your screen. I will start with the pros, which are on your right. The first is loyal customer base. One loyal SK2 customer in Japan already spends $1,000 a year on the brand. Benefits of this loyalty can include protection from competition, increased revenue, and repeat purchases. The second is low investment. There's significantly lower COGS when deciding to stay in Japan, since it costs less to develop a new product and diversify than extending to other geographical regions. The third is a familiar market. Over the past few years, SK2 has been growing its market presence in Japan. This has provided P&G with a lot of data to work with and a deep understanding of customers and culture. The fourth is product expansion. We have an understanding of customers and its culture, and this gives us an immediate opportunity to move into new segments by adding anti-aging and skin whitening products, allowing us to capitalize on innovation which P&G Japan is looking for. The fifth and last pro is staying in Japan is that it's safe post-organizational restructuring. While the organizational overhaul has improved flexibility and accountability, the shakeups that we've seen, such as managers leaving and worker frustration, make the consistency P&G experiences by staying in Japan for the meantime a pro during this unique time. I will now move on to the cons, which are on your left. The first is slow growth. The home care market in Japan has been experiencing slowing growth. If this trend continues, it'll make it difficult for P&G to achieve needed sales targets. The second is strong competition. There are many domestic and foreign competitors, and they are innovative and fiercely competitive. However, we should note that P&G has been building its R&D team, which has so far created the foaming massage cloth and beauty imaging system. And now for our market comparison. Here we lay out the target market criteria Audrey mentioned before. And as you can see on your far right, highlighted in green, Japan best meets all those needs. However, we can also see an opportunity within China, which is located in the middle, particularly within its sensitivity to Japanese trends, low advertising expenses, low cost of beauty consultants, and profitability. Europe, unfortunately, was not able to meet all the target market criteria. Here, we have illustrated the projected sales growth per year in China, Europe, and Japan. And as you can see represented in dark red, Japan soars above China, which is represented in pink, and Europe, which is represented in blue. Reasons for this are due to the fact that Japan will not require significant additional costs since its established market presence. We consider our financial estimates for Japan to be more moderate. since we take into account the anticipated decline in growth within the home care market. Additionally, you can also see the financial opportunities within China. Sales per year are expected to be between 10 to 15 million over the first 3 years. China does have high product costs and import duties, but its growing premium beauty segment and wealthy consumer group are very promising. Finally, Europe falls last, since its well-established competitors require high marketing costs. In summary, our target market criteria and projected revenue growth have led us to our recommendation to remain in Japan for the time being, then enter China next year. Now, I would like to pass it off to Lindsay to speak more about our implementation.
Thank you, Peniel. I'm now going to explain how we plan on implementing our recommendation. So starting with Japan on the left-hand side, we will start by introducing new products, specifically anti-aging and skin whitening products that can be incorporated into a typical skincare routine. We're also going to introduce a new technology we've developed at our SK2 counters, which is a beauty imaging system that can diagnose individual skincare problems. Lastly, we want to continue to build brand loyalty through loyalty programs, member discounts, and incentives for using our new beauty imaging technology. On the right-hand side is our plan for China. We're going to file for import registration now because it'll take a full year to complete. So during that year, we'll continue focusing on Japan and preparing for China so that we can launch once our paperwork is processed. When the time comes to launch in China, we plan on building beauty counters in department stores in major cities such as Beijing and Shanghai as the main way to sell our products. Lastly, because skincare routines are less steps and less developed in China as compared to Japan, we want to sell sample product bundles to encourage Chinese consumers to try new steps in their routines. Additionally, these bundles will be discounted in order to create incentive and price it closer to retail levels that other products are selling at in China. So moving on to this next slide, I'm going to briefly cover our implementation timeline for the next 2 years. So right away, we want to begin developing new products and brand initiatives, as well as file for import registration in China. We're also ready to launch our beauty imaging systems, and we'll continue to monitor them when we move into the second half of the year. In the second half of the year, we will also continue working on the anti-aging and skin whitening products, and we will start to build the beauty counters in China so that we're prepared when we can start selling products. So beginning in 2001, we can release our new products and train our beauty consultants in China as we begin the transition into that market. At Q3 in 2001, we will continue monitoring our progress in China and expanding our product offerings with the sample bundles. Lastly, we'll be monitoring the new product performance in Japan, and as always, we'll be looking into the future to find new ways for SK2 to continue to build on its success. So the last thing I'm going to talk about today are some of the potential risks with this strategy and how we plan on mitigating those risks. One of the things that has been brought up is increased competition in Japan, but we believe the superior technological capabilities from our beauty imaging systems and our new products will keep us far ahead of the competition. Second, we understand that staying in Japan gives us less of a global reach, but we're going to continue to grow in East Asian countries. We've seen a lot of success in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and South Korea that we're going to continue to build on, and the future launch in China will expand our global reach significantly. In China, there's the issue of expensive import duties, but we can offset these costs with lower beauty consultant spending because the labor market is less expensive in China as compared to Japan. And then lastly, China has a large problem with counterfeit goods, but we plan on extending our ownership rights globally and testing out new packaging designs that can mitigate the ability to copy our product. So an example of that would be barcodes that scan for authenticity and then only selling our SK2 products directly from our beauty counters. So finally, I'm going to pass it back off to Rick to conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Lindsay. To conclude our presentation, let's take a look at 3 key areas we will be focusing on moving forward. First, we want to place emphasis on developing new products. Introduction of new product lines and the beauty imaging system would help us achieve our goal of accelerating sales growth. Second, we aim to establish strong customer loyalty to retain our customers amid growing competition. Finally, we plan to enter China in the following years after the transition of P&G's reorganization plan. China is a promising market with high growth opportunities, and we believe that this will be a great flying leap in becoming a global skincare brand. That concludes our presentation. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll be opening up to any questions.